Hello and welcome. Today is 5th of December 2020 and this is Daily Math video for CBSE Class 9. We are discussing number systems and today we are going to learn how do we solve these kinds of problems. So here we have two problems and we will figure out how do we find out the solution in a step-by-step manner. So let's get started. So this is a first problem. So essentially here we have one particular term plus something else. This entire thing multiplied by, we have another term minus a fourth term. But what is important here is to recognize that this term, if we call this A and this term as B, they are same here. So this is A and this is B. The only difference is here we have A plus B, this is within brackets, parentheses, multiply by, we can think of this as A minus B. So we should immediately recognize that A plus B times A minus B, we know this to be A squared minus B squared. So here what we could have done is that we can multiply this term times this, meaning if we were to have multiplied A times A, we will get what? We will get A squared. And when we multiply A times B, we will get minus AB, right? And then when we multiply this plus this, so we have this plus sign, it comes here, B times A is AB, and plus B minus B is minus B squared. So in other words, these two cancel out and we are left with A squared minus B squared. But we don't have to go through this entire step. It is too much of time consuming. So we should be able to recognize when we see these patterns. So this is of the form A plus B times A minus B. And hence, instead of going through this big long route, we will just simply apply the formula. So let's clean this up and go ahead and solve this. So this product will look like, this is the first term, 5 square root 3. It will be A squared minus B squared. So this is how it will look like. And this will be simply 5 squared times square root 3 squared. I should have probably used a curly bracket, braces, or a square bracket. Minus, this will be 2 square is simply 4. Or here this will be 5 square will be 25, 5 times 5 is 25. And what is square root 3 whole square? This simply means square root 3 times square root 3, which we know is simply 3. So this will resolve as 3. This will be 3. And here we have our minus 4. Or this will be, now we have 25 times 3. 25 times 3 is 75. We have 75 minus 4, or simply 71. 71 is our final answer. So this product is 71. It is important to recognize these identities when we see them. Let's go ahead and now solve our second question. Here is the second question. Simply by looking at the question, we recognize that all these terms, they are all different. So this, here, right? These terms, when we multiply, we are not seeing any common pattern. And so we have a multiplication. So first we have to multiply these two, and then we have to add this to the result, right? So we have to apply the PEMDAS, meaning the order of operations. First we do the multiplication. So if we were given, for example, say 2 times 3 plus 5. First we have to perform this. And then whatever we get, we have to add 5 to it. So similarly, first we have to perform this multiplication. And whatever the result is, we are going to add this to that. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's do it over here. Now this is where we have to go the long way. Meaning we can write this as 2 square root 3 times the number 3, which is here. So we are taking 2 square root 3, multiply this by 3. This is the first term. Plus our second term is 2 square root 3, which is here, times, we multiply this by 4 square root 5. We write it as 4 square root 5. Then we have plus, which is this one, and then we multiply square root 5 and 3. So we say it is square root 5 times 3. And then we have square root 5 times this. So we say plus, we have square root 5 times 4 square root 5. So this is simply this times this. And now we have to write this over here. So this will be plus 6 square root 3 minus 7 square root 5. Let's go ahead and now simplify this. So when we multiply like this, what is the result? So here we multiply 2 times 3. So this will be 6 square root of 3. Right? What do we get here? Plus. So here we multiply 2 and 4. 2 and 4 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8. Times we multiply 3 times 5 inside of the square root. Because remember that square root 2 times square root 3, for example, is nothing but square root of 2 times 3 or square root 6. So this is what we are applying here. So this is the second term. Let's write the third term. This will be simply 3 square root 5 over here, right? 3 square root 5 plus what will we get here? This is square root 5 times 4 times square root 5. In other words, this particular term over here, this is, let's do it over maybe here. So this is square root 5 times 4 times square root 5. So square root 5 multiplied by square root 5 is 5. So we can write, let's maybe write one step here. So 4 times 5. Because square root 5 times square root 5 is 5. Right? So we have written these 4 terms and now we have to write this. So plus over here 6 square root 3 minus 7 square root 5. Alright, then what we have here is, so this will be 6 square root 3, this term, plus we get 8 square root 15 here, 8 square root 15, plus 3 square root 5, which is here, plus the number 20, 4 times 5 is 20, and then we have plus 6 square root 3 minus 7 square root 5. Now at this point we are looking for like terms. We are looking for same square root. So here we have a square root 3 and this is 15, this is 5. Oh, we have another square root 3. So we are going to group them together. So we will write this as 6 square root 3 plus 6 square root 3. We'll write this and this term together. Plus, next, let's write square root 5. Okay, we also see we have a square root 5 here and we have a square root 5 here. So let's group them together. So we have 3 square root 5 minus 7 square root 5, which are these two. And then we have a square root 15 term. Let's write it over here. This is the only square root 15 term. So we write it as 8 square root 15. And then we are left with the term 20 plus 20. Now we are going to solve this. So 6 square root 3 plus 6 square root 3, simply 6 plus 6 is 12. It will be 12 square root 3. Right? And here 3 square root 5 minus 7 square root 5. So you can think of it this way. So if square root 5 were, let's say, a number a. So what we have is we have 3a minus 7a. And this will be simply minus 4a. Right? Where a is square root 5. So this will be basically minus 4 square root 5. And then we have 8 square root 15 plus the number 20. So this entire thing is our final answer. Because can we simplify it any further? Actually, we can't simplify this any further.